Air coolers are like, the practical Swiss Army knives. They get the job done, they're high performance, they're a little bit ugly, not very special, but they have good performance and they work very effectively. On the other hand, all-in-one water coolers have always been, to me, a little bit like a Maserati. It's very showboaty, it's very cool to tell your friends that you have water cooling in your rig, and it's also very nice. Like, it looks sleeker, it looks nicer, it looks cleaner, and sometimes it has like infinity mirrors and RGBs and LEDs and all that stuff. But the performance and the reliability of them have always been second to a proper air cooler, proper tower cooler that just gets the job done. Something like the Noctua NHD14, something that I've been using for a year now at this point in my own rig. So when Bequiet's local distributor asked to send over the PureLoop 240, I was interested. Is this another Maserati, another sleek but impractical and low performance device? Or would it be a great balance between the excellent performance and silence and reliability of Bequiet's Dark Rock Pro coolers and the average all-in-one AIO water cooler?
This is the Bequiet PureLoop 240. And on paper, its feature list is pretty rich. It comes with two PureWings fans, which are well known for their silence and performance. It comes with a refillable reservoir and some extra coolant so that you can top it up over the years, which helps with the longevity of this device. And it also comes with a dual pump design that supposedly aids something. Either way, then, on the features spec list side of things, the PureLoop 240 is very interesting. But how is it in the real world, and how's the design and build quality?
Now, the design of the PureLoop 240 is pretty good. I think it definitely really, meets expectations of all-in-one water cooling, because most people go for all-in-one water cooler for looks. Let's be real here, let's be honest here. They go for looks, and it really looks good. Sure, it doesn't have the infinity mirror of an NZXT device or RGB like the Corsair series, but it has a nice clean white LED, a beautiful brushed aluminium piece on the water block. The pipes are braided, which look excellent, and also the radiator itself has this wonderful squared off look and simple logos on it. Honestly, really not that bad. Build quality is pretty excellent as well. As I've said, the pipes are braided, which is reinforced. The CPU block is, well, nice and good, and wherever you expect there to be metal, there is metal. Wherever you expect there to be rubber, there is rubber, and even the plastics on here feel pretty solidly built. All of that is really, really good. But how does it perform? Now, on paper, the PureLoop 240 is very promising of a device. It's actually really promising of an all-in-one water cooler. It has a dual pump system, which is very nice. This supposedly increases your silence and your performance, because two pumps means you can run the pumps at a lower RPM, and because the pumps are at separate points in the water flow, they're actually more efficient than just one big powerful pump, apparently. It also comes with two PureWings 120mm Bequiet fans, which are both silent and effective. You could say I'm a fan of those, but that would be a terrible pun, so let's not do that. Alright? So on paper, it's all very impressive. So let's put it up against a CPU air cooler from 10 years ago that is covered in dust and corrosion, the venerable and old Noctua NHD14 that I've been using for about a year now in my own personal rig.
So for testing methodology, it's pretty simple. The PureLoop 240 just has to beat the 11 or 12-year-old Noctua NHD14 covered in dust and corrosion inside my NZXT H500i PC case at a simple race. A simple little benchmark called Prime 95. We'll be running small FFT for 1,000,000 hours until the temperature averages out and see what the temperatures are. We're using hardware info to measure the temperature, and that's pretty much it. Simple benchmark, but effective.
So what are the results of the benchmark then? Well, the PureLoop 240 averaged a temperature of about 69.5 degrees Celsius. While my 10-year-old Noctua NHD14 averaged a temperature of about 60.5 degrees Celsius. 9 degrees Celsius. That's a lot. 9 degrees! How the hell do you lose by 9 degrees? 9 degrees? How? How? Okay, but I'm kidding with all that. Wait, because before you click off of this video, there are pretty good reasons as to why the PureLoop 240 struggled so much. And that is my benchmarking methodology. While my benchmarking methodology I think is pretty decent, its aim is to be a realistic situation in my daily driver. And that is the NZXT H500 case. And I don't know if you know this, but the synergy between your CPU cooler and your PC case is actually something that is pretty important and something that you want to take note of when you're picking either part. You see, the NZXT H500i is a minimalist case. It's got a flat front, minimal ventilation in the front. However, it's the only place you can mount a PureLoop 240 in that case, the front. So as a result, the PureLoop 240's ventilation is heavily restricted because the only ventilation at the front is some small holes on the left and the bottom of the PC case. As a result, the PureLoop 240's performance would naturally tank because the airflow it gets is much worse. Which leads us to a couple of takeaways. Number one, if you're buying a minimalist case with little airflow, don't buy an all-in-one water cooler. If you are mounting your radiator, make sure you mount it in a place that has access to fresh air from outside the PC case because that's very clearly important to the cooling of the radiator. So then, this leads us to the question, the PureLoop 240, will it beat an air cooler of a similar price if it was given the ideal condition in a high airflow? Even in a high airflow case, in the ideal situation, I doubt. Because the NHD14 I've used in this test was old, covered in corrosion and dust, and it still beat the PureLoop 240. Yes, its airflow was heavily restricted, but it beat it by such a margin that I feel that if we put a brand new CPU cooler that costs as much as the PureLoop inside the same situation that the PureLoop is, like in an open air test bench, the PureLoop will lose. But this is not all bad, remember? Because remember that analogy that I gave at the start? All-in-one water coolers, you don't buy them for performance. You buy them because they're like a Maserati. They're like an Italian supercar. They're flashy and sleek and cool, but they don't go all that fast. And this is just like that. You buy a PureLoop 240 because it's an AIO. You don't buy a PureLoop 240 because it's going to give you the best performance. If you want the best performance, once again, get a CPU tower cooler or get a custom water cooling loop. The PureLoop 240, as AIOs come, is pretty good. Compared to other AIOs, if we just ignore the existence of the other two types of CPU cooling. If we just look at AIOs, it's pretty good. It looks very clean, simple and avant-garde. It has a wonderful refillable reservoir which extends its longevity and puts it ahead of other AIO water coolers. It comes with refillable coolant, an excellent mounting system, and it also comes with two excellent Pure Wings fans. And because of all of that, I can't fault the PureLoop 240. If you are the right person for it, it's going to be a great choice. But then that leads us to the next question, which is, who's the right person for the PureLoop 240? Number one, if you absolutely love the look of an AIO, which I get because I think all-in-one water coolers are objectively better looking than CPU tower coolers, especially the brown Noctuas, then yeah, the Bequiet PURELOOP 240 is a pretty good choice because ignoring CPU tower coolers and other types of cooling, it is better than many other AIOs. Two, if you are someone that is building in a small form factor PC case that needs the flexibility of this wonderful braided tubes and the ability to mount your radiator anywhere, or if you're someone who needs the RAM clearance, then the PureLoop 240 is going to be a pretty decent choice because, once again, the refillable reservoir and a variety of other features make it better than many other AIOs. So then, to sum it up shortly and quickly, because let's end the video soon, if you are choosing an AIO, the PureLoop 240 is a very good choice. But if you are choosing a CPU cooler out of all the CPU coolers available, I am strongly a believer in air cooling. And with that, I'm going to end this video off right here. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will probably be this Saturday. Okay. Yeah, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.